Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. As promised, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of insight on how my diet has looked through my bikini prep up until this point. First off, I want to preface this video by saying please do not follow my macros or my percentages, because I am sharing everything. I'm being completely open with all of my numbers, all of my macros that I've been following for this prep, and I don't want you guys to take those numbers and follow them to a T for yourself, because we are different people, we have different bodies, we have different metabolisms, lean mass percentages, body fat percentages, so please don't follow my macros. I don't want anybody getting hurt or sick or anything. So yeah, this is just for informative purposes, in case you guys are curious about what I'm doing during my prep, because everyone's different, and I personally think that it's really interesting to watch other competitors' videos and see what they've had to go through for their competition, because there are so many different diets, there are so many different tactics and strategies for fat loss. So this is my experience. I hope you guys enjoy this video, and yeah, thank you for watching. I did tell you in my last video that I have implemented carb cycling for the first time. I've never done carb cycling before, but what made me decide to put it into my diet is because I hit a very hard plateau in my progress about 7 weeks out. I stopped seeing fat loss, I stopped seeing physical progress through my progress pictures and videos, and I stopped seeing progress on the scale, even though like fluctuations on the scale are something to be taken with a grain of salt, because there's a lot of factors that play into progression with fat loss. But anyway, so I hit a plateau, I wasn't seeing any progress. My gym performance had started to decline, which may have been a big factor in why I wasn't seeing progress. I was really tired all the time, I was hungry all the time, and I just was not seeing the kind of changes that I needed to see in a bikini prep that has a deadline. And yeah, so I did a lot of research into carb cycling. I went back to my certification books and researched those again, or like studied those again, and I put together a carb cycling plan that I could start out with and then adjust from there. So what I was doing when I first started my bikini prep was I was on a very linear macro split, I guess. So what that means is that I had one set of macros for my fat loss. So I was in a deficit from where my maintenance is at. So say my maintenance was right here, like this is how many calories I need to be eating to maintain my current physique, my current muscle mass, my current body fat percentage. So I took that many calories, reduced it. For the first couple of weeks I reduced it very slightly, and then eventually I jumped into the 500 calorie cut, and I started seeing plenty of progress. It was fine. My gym performance was great because I was still on super high carbs and everything was fine and dandy. And then over time what naturally happens is your body adjusts to that. So what you do from that point is you increase cardio, because early into my prep I wasn't doing cardio, because it's a really good idea to start out on bikini prep doing a minimal amount of cardio or no cardio at all. So when I first started, I wasn't doing any cardio. I was just eating right below my maintenance. And then when I saw that stall, I added in 2 days, two sessions of cardio, and that progress started working again. And then as what naturally happens, your body adjusts to that cardio and you hit another plateau. So with both putting on weight and losing weight, your body will plateau, and you just need to know how to make those decisions to continue your goals, whether it be muscle gain or fat loss or whatever. So yeah, once my body adjusted to that cardio, I reduced my macros again, and this was one set of macros that I was following every single day. And just my body, something I didn't know about my body, I know that I've always had a fast metabolism, but I did not know that my metabolism adjusts to new sets of macros so quickly, which makes a lot of sense because in my off season, I was eating 2,800 calories and I gained a minimal amount of fat. I still stayed relatively lean, which was good for me starting prep, but I really wouldn't have minded gaining more body fat than I did because I probably could have gained a lot more muscle if I had been eating more calories. But the more I increased, my body would just adjust to it, and it got to the point where it was extremely difficult for me to eat that many calories and stick to my macros as I had them split up. So on the opposite side of the spectrum, now that I am focused on fat loss, my metabolism has been decreasing and adjusting to that new calorie intake very quickly. So I have gotten further down in my calories than I had originally anticipated before I started prep. I was super optimistic, thinking, yeah, I'm gonna be able to get stage ready on like 1,900 to 2,000 calories and it's gonna be great, I'm never gonna be hungry and this is gonna be awesome, but that's not the reality of it. My body definitely adjusted, so right now, let's see, when I started carb cycling, I think I was at 1,800 calories on that linear diet. So every single day I was eating 1,800 calories. Throughout my whole prep, except for much earlier on, for most of my prep, I've been on 150 grams of protein and 50 grams of fat. So those two numbers have stayed very consistent throughout my diet, but I have been manipulating my carbs. So every time I had a macro drop, I would mostly drop my carbs. So I got down to, I think it was like 180 something carbs, I believe. So that is when I completely stalled and I was kind of freaking out because I really didn't want to carb cycle because that's 3 extra sets of macros that I have to track. I didn't know if that would be stressful for me, which it has turned out to be a lot easier than I thought it would be. But it's definitely not for the faint of heart. And if you are new to fitness and tracking your food intake and your macros, I would not recommend that you start with carb cycling. You should definitely start with one set of macros to follow each day and get your nutrition right, get your diet right, and then later on when you're more experienced with it and you're very consistent with following your macros and not falling off of track, then you could try carb cycling if that's what you choose, but it's completely not necessary. The only reason, actually I should explain that. The only reason I did decide to do carb cycling is because my gym performance was suffering. I do 3 leg days a week, 2 of which are extremely heavy training. I'm still following a powerlifting style of training even through bikini prep because I do want to maintain my strength that I worked so hard to build up in my off season. My heavy leg days are on Monday and Friday, and that is when I prioritize deadlifts and squats, and those were the days that were suffering the most, and those are definitely my most difficult workouts. So I decided to carb cycle, and my high carb days are on those 2 days, so I do have that extra energy and those extra carbohydrates to fuel my workouts. so I can keep my intensity in the gym high, so I can keep burning a high amount of calories, and it's just a snowball effect. So when you're dieting, make sure that your intensity in the gym remains the same. It remains high, and that your workouts aren't suffering. So from my plateau, I reduced my calories by 100 calories. So if I were to keep that linear, eating the same macros every single day, I'd be eating 1,700 calories. So what I did is I calculated the amount of calories I allotted to my fats and my proteins, which I told you were 50 grams and 150 grams. And then I split up the rest of the calories amongst my carbs, if that makes sense. So I wrote out 3 sets of different macros, which are my low carb days, my moderate carb days, which is what I would be eating if I were still on my my linear diet, and my high carb days, which were for my 2 leg days. I set my low carb days at something that I'd be relatively comfortable with, which was 119 carbs. And then my moderate days were at 163 carbs, and my high carb days, I reduced my fat by 10 grams, and and that's to allow more of a carbohydrate intake. So my high carb days were at 360 grams of carbs, a lot of which were consumed around my workout. So yeah, that is how I started it 7 weeks out, and I adjusted it again at 5 weeks out, and I really don't plan on adjusting it again throughout the rest of my prep, because I'm 3 weeks out now and it's been working for me, and at this point I'm just increasing cardio and I'm seeing plenty of progress. So I don't want to mess with eating less and less food if it's not necessary, because I'm already at a low point in my calories for my body. So yeah, so as of right now, 3 weeks out from my competition, I am eating an average of 1,600 calories a day throughout the week. So even though that is not my intake every single day, that is the average. So it's really important to know what your average is and make sure it's not too low, that you're not eating like 0 carbs and stuff like that. So my average now is 1,600 calories, which again, I don't plan on reducing any more than that. I think kind of the plan that I'm on right now has really been working for me. So right now I am at, again, 150 grams of protein every single day, no matter what, except for my refeeds, which I will get to. 50 grams of fat for my low and moderate days. And then on my high days, I reduce that to 35 grams of fat. But again, if you look at my fat intake throughout the week and you look at the percentage of what it is of my total overall calories for the week, I am at 26% fat, which is a very healthy range. I try to keep my fat intake between 25 and 30%. It's very important for hormonal function, so make sure you're consuming enough fat. And so 26 is a good range for me. It's been really easy to hit my macros, and I love peanut butter and egg yolks and stuff like that. So that's been really easy for me to hit. And then on my low days, I eat 88 carbs, which honestly is a struggle. That's very, very low for me. On my off season, I was eating 355, I think it was 355 carbs every single day on my off season. So just as kind of like a gauge of how low carb that is for me, 88 carbs is low. On those days, I am very low energy, tired, sometimes grumpy. And yeah, those days I put on my off training days and my upper body days, because I don't need quite as much fuel to get through those workouts, because they're still challenging, but they are easier for me to get through than my leg days, which are like very taxing on my system. So I have 4 low carb days a week. I have 1 moderate day, which again is how much I would be eating were I not carb cycling. That would be my regular linear diet, which is 138 grams of carbs, and that is 1,600 kcals on my moderate days. And then my high days, which are twice a week again on my leg days, I'm eating 2,000 calories with 35 grams of fat and 271 grams of carbs. Some of them are split. Some of my carbs are evenly split throughout the day, but I do try to prioritize them around my workouts. So really my percentages overall right now is 26% fat of my total calories throughout the week, 36 grams of protein, which is about 1.25 grams per pound of what I prospect my stage weight to be. So I think that my stage weight will probably be around 118. Right now I am 121, so I think I'm just about on track, being 3 weeks out. So yeah, and then 36% of that is carbs. So I have a pretty steady split. I will be honest and say that all of this is not like rainbows and sunshine. I definitely have not had as difficult of a prep as some girls that I have heard about. Some girls have a really, really difficult time getting super lean, and bikini prep is a very difficult thing for them to get through. I consider myself lucky that it hasn't been that extreme for me. I really haven't had to get super crazy. But to be honest, the cravings are real. I get like emotional smelling pizza and like Oreos and fresh bread and all the carby things that I love to eat. And just knowing that I can't is like I just stare at it and I start drooling, but you have to try to not fixate on it. And yeah, so the cravings are real. I do have trouble sleeping sometimes, but overall, I haven't had that bad of a time during prep. I would say the worst part is the exhaustion during my workouts, the long cardio sessions, which aren't even as long as some girls. Like, that's what I'm saying, is that I mean, it's, of course, it's all relative, but I consider myself very lucky that my metabolism and my body is where it's at, and it hasn't taken any extreme measures. I'm not like unhealthy or anything like that, so I feel good overall. But yeah, except for the stress, I'm like stressing out doing all this by myself, but it seems to be working out, and I'm just trying to have faith that the competition will come and go and I will have a lot of fun, and it's a new experience, so I don't completely know what to expect, but I really hope that it's a fun experience and that I want to do it again, because I'm sure I will. But it's been fun. Anyway, so I started planning out like my peak week stuff today, which honestly I was like shaking and my heart was racing when I was planning it, just because I'm so nervous. But I'm trying to keep my stress levels down, because that does not help with fat loss. But yeah, so I hope this was informative for you guys. Just again, please don't follow my macros, because they are very individual. Even if you're on bikini prep, I'm sure we have different amounts of muscle mass, we're different heights, different weights, like there's so many like different metabolisms, there's so many factors that play into how many calories you should be eating, how much cardio you should be doing, and like everybody's body is different. things work for different people, but I did want to be open and share my experience and share what I'm going through with my diet and how I'm making adjustments and my mood about everything. I do want to be open with you guys, and this is actually my second time recording this video. I didn't like how the first one came out because I was just like, I guess kind of in denial about how hard this prep has been. And like I said, overall it has been enjoyable, but dieting is not fun. Like it is necessary to lose body fat or to get to certain goals that you have. Like for me, it's my competition. For lifestyle clients, it may just to be healthier at a healthier body fat percentage. But just in all honesty, dieting's not fun. Like everybody loves eating food. Everybody loves like not worrying about what they're eating and just having fun and enjoying life. And I will get there again, but for now my goals are to do well at a physique competition, and dieting down is necessary. So I just have to remind myself of my goals and why I'm doing this. And yeah, in my first video, I was too chipper, and I don't want to come off as insincere. So I decided to re-record this and be more real with you guys, be completely openly honest. If you guys have any questions at all about nutrition or my training or anything like that, feel free to email me. I always put my email in my description box. I am a certified personal trainer. I am a certified fitness nutrition specialist, both through the International Sports Science Association. So I do know my stuff. Please ask any questions that you have. And yeah, I'm here to help. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's a long one of just me talking, but I hope it's informative for you. And I think later on down the road, I do want to do a how-to, count macros, carb cycling, different diet techniques, to be more informative, because this video is just my experiences. Like, I don't think any of you guys should follow to a T what I'm doing, because it can be very dangerous if you don't do it correctly, if you don't have your intakes correct, because it can mess with your hormones, it can mess with your bodily functions. And yeah, so just do your research, ask questions, and yeah, so thank you guys for watching, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and yeah, leave a comment below if you have any questions. But yes, thanks for watching. Bye guys.